Justice for 7-year-old Kwekwe of South Africa. Just wanted to say that before I go in again. I'm going to speak on something that's going to cap off of the video that I just did yesterday, the Christ Saga, part 15 of Infinity. I noticed the quality of the video. I was using this here microphone on this here new phone that I have, and the volume didn't match with my voice correctly. I would redo the video, which is why I'm mentioning it, but I'm only going to say a few things in this video that are going to tie into the last video in order to, in a sense, redo it, but I have to move on to the next thing because the spiritual reawakening, the soulful incarnation, and the spirit soul resurrection, they must take place in order for the reestablishment to begin. I want to talk about the reestablishment now, as well as adding a few things that I said from the previous video into this one. For example, what I said, to summon the Christ Father in the Spirit's house is to establish order upon the soul's grounds. It's one of the things I said. It's a foundational quote. What does it mean, though? The house is where the conscious mind resides. The grounds are where the subconscious mind resides. The house is above, the grounds are below. As above, so below. The Christ Father is balance, love, and order. Whereas, and once it's summoned in the Spirit's house, the soul's grounds simultaneously become balance, love, and order. What is order? A definition of order would be any of the 9 grades of angelic beings in the celestial hierarchy. Any of the 9 grades of angelic beings in the celestial hierarchy. What are the 9 grades of angelic beings in the celestial hierarchy? What you would label and describe as the 9 choirs of angels hierarchy. Why is this important to know? Because these angels that I speak of are what can be labeled and described as our divine character traits and the connections to our divine mental faculty senses. They're the connection, and or it's the information thereof is it lists or labels and describes a proper connection that we hold or harbor to our divine character senses, our divine mental faculty senses. You follow what I'm saying? Like, for example, before I even go on to mention the example, I want to say this first. The conscious mind, where the Christ Father resides in the Spirit's house, this is also the driver's seat. This is also what this is. Then you have the subconscious mind, which is the spirit house's grounds. The spirit house's soulful grounds, which is the subconscious mind. This is the engine of the car, which is also the battery and the wirings and where the electronics go and things of that nature. It's under the hood. This is what the subconscious mind is. You follow what I'm saying? And then the vehicle itself, the tires, the coating of the car, the hood of the car, in which protects the engine. These things are your physical somatic body, somatic, which something is relating to the body. That's what the vehicle's coating is. So you yourself or your actual self is the driver. Your subconscious mind is the engine of the vehicle, whereas your physical self is the vehicle, or your physical vessel is the vehicle in which the driver drives, or which the driver is driving. You follow me? And summoning the Christ Father in the Spirit's house or summoning the Christ Father into the Spirit's car establishes order upon the soul's grounds or establishes repairing within the soul's engine. You follow what I'm saying? And then once the engine is fully repaired, or it has the right information, this engine has the right format or setup or disposition or structure or foundation of knowledge constructed. Once it has the proper format constructed, your behavior thereof will demonstrate what your engine has placed upon its conditioning. If that makes sense to you. Whatever your engine state is what your behavioral practices will be. Whatever your engine state is what your behavioral practice will be. So, for example, the 9 grades of angels in the celestial hierarchy. If you have a seraphic engine, then your characteristics will be directly that of source's requirements, meaning balance, love, and protection, balance, love, and protection, or balance, love, and order. It's also ardor within that word. Seraphic engine. Seraphic is in Christian angelology, the first highest order of the ninefold celestial hierarchy, meaning the entity in which is directly next to God and which receives its orders directly from God, or which receives its instructions to do things directly from God. The seraphic angel does. And since we are talking about order upon the subconscious mind, or order upon the soul's grounds, then ultimately what I am saying is the seraphic subconscious mind is what will be your engine or your force behind your behaviors, habitual, natural, phenomenal, characteristical traits. If that makes sense to you. Meaning the seraphic engine will be your drive for your driving, as your driver is driving what the seraphic energy or the seraphic engine is the engine of, thereof. Now the other 8 grades, I'm just going to say what they are and move on to what I want to talk about for this video. You have the cherubim engine, which is after the seraphim engine, or the seraphim angel, the cherubim engine, or the cherubim angel. Then you have the thrones angel, or the thrones engine. The thrones engine is also the constituent of the third eye chakra. Remember, it's all hooked up in one place for you to serve you for the better, serve you for the good. It's all your subconscious mind's artwork. Next, after the thrones angel, you have the dominions angel, or the dominions engine. Then you have, these are labeling and describing specific angelic character traits in which thy subconscious mind can be in a state of. Long story short, your subconscious mind can have a seraphic state, your subconscious mind, or it can have a seraphic angelic engine state. I'll say all 4 of them in one word, just to make it make more sense. Then you can also have a cherubim angelic engine state. Then you can have a thrones angelic engine state. Dominions engine state. Power, principalities dominion state. Powers dominion state. Virtues dominion state. Engine dominion state. Or not dominion, I don't have to keep saying dominion. And then you can also have the archangel engine, which is what you are physically, archangels. That's what you all are naturally, angels. And what is an angel? An angel is a spiritual being. And what an arch in Greek is a Greek word, archi, meaning chief. So that means the master of a group of people or a thing in which is a master of all things. I'm going to just stay there for a moment. Chief angel, chief spiritual being, chief spiritual being. Remember, there's only one spirit and only one God, the one that gives us all our abilities to be here. So in other words, God, or the spirit itself, is the chief of us all, the true master, the true chief. That's what the spirit is. The spirit, or the true God of the universe, is our master or the chief of all of us individual spiritual beings. You follow what I'm saying? And right now, currently, you're all low-class spiritual beings, which needs to become high-class spiritual beings by any moral means necessary. And once the higher you go up to becoming a higher-class spiritual being, the better your behavior will be in this world. Think about it. If all of you got on the same page, or all harbored the same idea, would your multiple ideas be driving your physical bodies to go to war? Because remember, your ideas are your drivers. Your engine is what your driver is. Depending on the driver that gets in your spiritual ride, or depending on the wrestler, so to speak, that steps into your spiritual house, that goes to your spiritual home, he will either drive the car recklessly and tear the engine up, and the more the engine is messed up, the more you will be, or the entity in which you summon into thine spiritual house or into thine spiritual car, which is thy spiritual seat or spiritual throne. As I was saying, the throne's engine. You follow what I'm saying? Throne's angelic engine, the third one. It's all hooked up in the same place. It's a large parable for you all to grasp and comprehend. We're all like spiritual megazords. Remember, depending on the character king or the character avatar, and which gets into thy mind, thy mind space, conscious mind space. It can either, like I said, drive the car crazy, or ruin the grounds of the soul engine, or it can keep it running good. You follow what I'm saying? It can keep it going to the source shop, getting tune-ups and checkups and whatnot, oil changes, or it could just drive the car to destruction. Long story short. So, summoning the Christ Father in the spirit is just to establish order upon the soul's grounds. All that I just said is what that means. And the Christ Father, who exactly is the Christ Father? The Christ Father, in reality, is just awareness of the third eye chakra you have in your brain. The third eye chakra, or the eye of Jesus, or the eye of Ra, or the eye of Horus, or the eye of Yeshua, or the eye of Yahushai, or the eye of Yahusha. It's all the same eye because it's all the same person's eye. It's all the same person's essence inside of your mind, giving your mind its proper driver. And the way you allow this balanced knowledge protection eye, the eye of balanced knowledge and protection. How about that? You don't even necessarily have to use any of the names in which we were taught to use for the King of all kings, his physical body, even his most popular vessel, which is known as Jesus, right? Or Yeshua. I prefer Yeshua more than Jesus, because Yeshua's most popular vessel is also the one that saved us, saved us from the demon from the sky. If you want to buy that story, you don't have to. You don't have to buy that story. And now I could be one of the last people born with this kind of light in my mind, and which stimulates my sight and gives me the abilities to see. I could be one of the last people born with them. And then the ninth angel, or the ninth engine, was the angel state engine. That's the last one. I didn't mention that. Moving forward, though. So, summoning the Christ Father into the Spirit's house, or into the Spirit's driver's seat, is to establish order upon the soul's grounds, and or to establish repairs upon the soul's ground, because it's just going to do it automatically. As soon as it steps into the car, balance, knowledge, and protection. Or as soon as it steps into the house, balance, knowledge, protection. Or as soon as you're reawakened to what's in or where it is for you truly and what it does for you truly, balance, knowledge, and protection. Reestablishing the spiritual grounds. Reestablishing the spirit soul's grounds, the spirit house soul's grounds. The spirit house soul's grounds. Spirit house soul's grounds, or the spirit driver soul engine. The spirit driver soul engine, you see. As soon as it's summoned in the spirit, it takes effects on fixing grounds immediately. Move forward. So here, my overall goal here, well, not my overall goal, it's just one of the many things in which must be done in order to prevent 7-year-old little girls from having their innocence taken in South Africa ever again. I wish to target the source of the problem. The source of the problem is your character and behavior. That's the source of the problem there. I see it. And as soon as we take out that problem, all of the other problems go away, which is the main reason why I'm still posting these videos, even though no one is watching or listening, yet everyone is using these ideas. And you want to know something? I don't care. I am glad you are using these ideas. You want to know why I'm glad you're using these ideas? Because that lets me know that you are, for a fact, learning something that will be effective towards ending the spiritual war. And also the physical one, in which the so-called white race is waging upon us all and using our people to help them wage it. Remember, we only have melanated sellouts because of the infinite amount of mind drilling in which the white class of people are performing upon us night and day. That's the only reason why we have sellouts. If it wasn't for the constant mind drilling of have a bad driver or multiple bad drivers in your spiritual vehicle's car or seat, then there wouldn't be any sellouts. There wouldn't be any circumcision. Remember, they have been establishing the devil's ways unto our soulful grounds for the past 6,000 years now. These so-called white people have. All of our tribal customs come from them. All of our religious customs come from them. All of our negative gangster attributes come from them. All of our so-called rich folks, so-called middle-class folks, and especially and certainly the third world poverty-stricken folks, or anyone that's been stricken to poverty at all, it's due to the driver in which they are being instructed to put into your conscious mind night and day. We only need one driver in our mind, and that is the principle of the universe itself. The heart of hearts, or the soul of the universe, or the God of the universe, or the King of all kings. Moving forward. So due to their task to ensure that the devil is the car's driver versus the King of Kings, and which is your natural driver, we have sellouts. We have people of our own kind that we cannot trust or rely on for anything. Come on. So, what are some answers here? First off, like I said, summon the actual driver that was destined to be into thy mind heart space, or thy mind space, into thy mind space. As above, so below. You summon the proper driver that was meant to be in thy mind heart space, and then what ultimately happens, the driver establishes order upon or within the engine or upon the soul's grounds. Moving forward. Now, more things though. Because see, let's never forget, all of these things that I am saying, yeah, sure, I may be putting the idea out here of how to see, but it is still your objective to look. You follow me? It is still on you to look. I'm just going to do everything in my power to make it easy as possible for the melanated people to see what they need to see. You follow what I'm saying? The majority of me doing this is to help us all have one idea we can stand on. The melanated people is to help us all have one idea we can stand on, or one idea that can drive us. You follow me? One idea that'll be our driver. One idea in which will be our driver. That's what I'm also saying these things for. And the driver that I am looking to inspire you all to allow to drive you is who you would call Jesus. Jesus, take the wheel, please, right? Where did that expression come from? You think there's some kind of reason we have that expression out here? Jesus, take the wheel, please. Why do you think we say that? Where do you think that came from? Like I said, though, we don't need any of the names, not even Yeshua. We don't need any of the names. But like I said, I respect you, so I just want to use them so I can let you know just exactly who I'm talking about, or at least the essence of who I am talking about. And who I am talking about is the spirit, I am talking about is the spirit of the King of all kings, or the spirit of Yeshua. And Yeshua's way is the soul's grounds. Yeshua's way, John 14:6, is the soul's grounds. And when you summon Yeshua onto his own grounds, he'll naturally fix his own grounds, naturally. But you got to summon them first. In order to summon Yeshua in the spirit, you got to know who and or what and or how Yeshua can be in the spirit to be summoned in the first place. How? Notice this. Yeshua is the spirit. Yeshua is the third eye. The eye of Yeshua in your mind is the driver in the driver's seat right now currently. the eye of Yeshua in your mind, the third eye of Yeshua, the third eye chakra of Yeshua in your mind, the third eye chakra of Yeshua in your mind. This is the natural driver of your vessel's vehicle, of your vehicle. I was about to say vehicleic. That's not even a word. Vehicleic. No, that's not a word. Just stop. Your vessel's vehicle, the vehicle in which is your vessel. The third eye chakra of Yeshua is the driver of your vessel's vehicle. And once he is summoned in the spirit, these are some of the things you will see as he brings order to the soul's grounds. The soul's grounds. The soul's grounds. Right now, currently, because let's not forget, I'm also going to label and describe, because I have to label and describe just exactly what he's repairing when he is summoned into the spirit upon the soul's grounds. What is happening upon the soul's grounds internally? What's happening? Right now, currently, we are all taught to believe, or we are all taught to have the foundational belief. Because remember, your beliefs are your moral foundational grounds. Your beliefs are your moral, emotional foundational grounds. You only got one emotion. It's a good one. It's a good one all the time. So that means you should only have, or that should mean, meaning you should have a desire to act out of one moral standing grounds or one moral behavior. And that's a moral good behavior. Notice I'm not saying anything about immoral, right? Not saying anything about immoral. It's good, moral, emotional behavior. Your morals and your emotion, not emotions, plural. Your morals and your emotions, or your moral code and your emotion code, are the one and the same. They're one and the same thing, or one and the same spiritual artwork, or one and the same soul for artwork. That's what they are. They're one and the same soul for artwork. Soul artwork. And here's how our soul artwork is decorated currently. We have all been taught to stand on the belief without even realizing it or knowing that we're standing on this specific belief. I'm getting ready to say with these specific words that love is hatred and hatred is love. You follow what I'm saying? This is the belief we were taught blindly to stand on, that love is hatred and hatred is love. Or in this world, all good things are actually evil and all evil things are actually good. But that's this world though. This fake, artificial, foundational world right here. That's disorder, that's chaos, that's confusion right there. And the literal definition of chaos is disorder and confusion, which causes, and chaos causes insanity. And what is insanity literally? Not repeating the same thing over and over again. That's Einstein's definition. When you look up the word insanity and what it actually says, it literally defines as a mental illness, period. Insanity is literally a mental illness, and chaos causes mental illnesses. You want to know why? Because what chaos is, literally, is the opposite of order, and it is disorder and complete confusion. That's what chaos literally defines as disorder and complete confusion. So that means chaos is the subconscious mind's disorder and the conscious mind's confusion, mental illness, insanity. You see? So, and what's the solution here? Remove hatred and just keep love there. Or replace hatred with balance and say these words: balance is love, and love is balance, and or balance supports love, whereas love supports balance. Hatred does not support love, nor does love support hatred, because they can't coexist, because hatred is trying to kill too much and love is just trying to be there. Hatred is just along ruining everything that's just sitting there not bothering anybody. You don't have to drug it like you did the 7-year-old girl Kwikwi in South Africa. You don't have to drug it while she was at her school. You don't have to do this. She's just there as the love she was naturally intended to be. But due to the foundational belief system in which we were all raised to grow up upon, due to the people who are preserving this here belief system, things like that happen to my daughters, my children, my younger sisters, and there's nothing I can do about it. but talk about it. And besides, if I had the power to do something about it, the world would be in flames, most likely. You want to know why? Because the people who want to keep doing these horrific things to us on a daily basis, might I add you, they will stop at nothing to maintain nor preserve their abilities to continue doing it. Which is why this here summoning the Christ Father into the Spirit's house to establish order upon the soul's grounds, it just needs to happen in everyone. Because what's ultimately going to happen when he reestablishes order upon the soul's grounds? The hatred upon the grounds will be destroyed, disintegrated completely, and the only thing that'll be left is what was there in the first place: love. Did some more research, found out more about what the definition of love is. An intense feeling of affection. Like I said, I'm putting a lot of stuff in my previous video into this one because of the quality of the last video, but I'm getting ready to explain something about the reestablishment part without the 9 dimensions. But here's the thing, I did a study more about love. An intense feeling of affection. Intense feeling of affection. Intense meaning something very great or intense, profound, or profound, right? Very great, meaning you will obviously be able to feel this, obviously be able to tell what this is. You follow what I'm saying? An intense feeling of affection. Now here's the funny part though. We know what a feeling is, right? An emotional state or reaction. What's affection? Likingness or fondness for something. Sentiment, attachment, mentality, sentimentality, attachmentality. Now, the word affection, spelled with an AF, Latin origin meaning to influence, right? There is a subheading definition under one of the definitions of affection spelled with an AF. And it says a mental state and emotion. Plain and simple as that. Mind you, the definition of the word character is the mental and moral qualities distinctive to an individual. The word affection, when you scroll all the way down and study all the definitions, you get to the one that says a physical effect or of being affected. You'll notice that one of the definitions or one of the spots of information on this definition says an emotion, a mental state, an emotion. Remember, your mental state is your conscious mind. What's your mental state currently? Your mental state depends on the driver, and which is in your seat right now currently, or in your throne's angel, or in your throne's engine, or the one operating your throne's engine. That's your mental state currently, depending on the driver. There's only so many drivers you can have. You can have the actual you as a driver, or you can have the devil. Ain't too many other drivers that can get in your head. The actual you just so happens to be the King of all kings. The actual you just so happens to be Yahweh Shai Yeshua. The actual you just so happens to be who you would label and describe as Jesus. And he is the actual you by way of the eye of the Jesus in your head. The third eye chakra is the eye of Jesus in your mind. You follow me? And once you gain reawakening and or re-certainty or re-clarence about who this I in your mind is, this I in your mind does the destruction of hatred upon thy soulful grounds naturally, or performs. This third eye in your mind performs the destruction of hatred upon thy soulful grounds naturally. You follow what I'm saying? And once that happens, the only thing upon your soulful foundational grounds will be love. And how would your behavior operate? With love. Now watch this. Mental state. Your mental state will be the King of all kings soon. And your emotion will just be the good one in which it is at all times soon. Your good moral emotion. There we go. Your good moral emotion. Your good moral emotion. Remember, emotion is foundational. When you look at the definition of the word, a natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one's instinctive or intuitive spirit and soul, as distinguished from reasoning or knowledge, meaning as your mind sees how your heart operates, is how you can label and describe what your natural emotional state is. If that makes sense to you, you won't be able to know what something is until you can validate it, see it, and tell us what it is. Like I said, there's a big difference between a logical assumption and experiences. There's a major difference between them. Logical assumptions are an internal space, but experiences come from a physical space only. Experiences only come from the physical. Logic-based assumptions are a combination of the physical and the internal, but primarily come from the internal, non-physical, because it's you labeling and describing what you see in your mind. Now, once love is reestablished upon the soul's grounds and the hatred is completely destroyed and the balancing king of all kings is the driver of thy mental state. So that means love, an intense feeling of affection, right? And when you look at the word affection all the way down to its core, you can label and describe it like this now. Love is an intense feeling of a balanced mental state and an intense feeling of a good moral emotion. That's how you can look at the word love now, because that's literally what it is. Because like I said, the word affection and the word love defines an intense feeling of affection. So that means it's and when you look at the definition of affection all the way down to its core, you'll find that its influence is the natural state, the natural mental state, and the natural emotional state. The natural mental state or the natural emotion state. And what are the natural mental states and the natural emotion states? The king of all kings being in control of the driver's seat, with the order upon the soul's grounds. And that will give you an intense feeling of a balanced mental state and an intense feeling of a good moral emotion, you see. That's the overall gist of the story there. And once you have those two things reestablished in your mind, for example, the balanced mental state is the reawakening. The good moral emotion is the reincarnation. So the resurrection will be the full fusion or the application of these things. The application will be the resurrection. Application season is the resurrection, or at least you're getting ready to apply these things to the reestablishment. You follow what I'm saying? Because the reawakening is the awareness of a balanced mental state. The reincarnation is the acceptance of a loving emotional state or a loving moral emotion, a love moral emotion. That's how I'm going to say it. I'm going to say a love moral emotion, because it's an intense feeling of a good moral emotion. That's what love is in reality. An intense feeling of a good moral emotion and or an intense feeling of a balanced mental state. Wouldn't be intense, you just feel it naturally. Moving forward, it wouldn't necessarily be intense. You'll feel it though. You'll feel it. It's something you can feel, long story short. It ain't something that'll just go away. And it's self-sustaining love, because it's our actual DNA that I'm telling you about as well. Our DNA, our literal biological makeup is also what I'm telling you about. Moving forward. So the reawakening will be the awareness of a balanced mental state, that you naturally have one. The reincarnation will be the acceptance of a good moral emotion or a love moral emotion. So a balanced, good, loving moral emotion. That'll be the acceptance of those two things. The resurrection will be the preparation to apply them, and or you coming back to all of these divine senses as a whole, in which they are. Did you notice 4 of your 5 senses, actually all 5 senses, are on your head alone? 4 of them. Notice your sight is on your head alone, your smell is on your head alone, your taste is on your head alone, and your hearing is upon your head alone. Now you can count the skin thereof, because when you touch your skin upon your face, on your head, you feel it, right? You see what I mean? Did you notice it? Just random, did you notice it? Now here's what I want to talk about though. When we get to the resurrection part and we're ready, or we're about to get ready to apply what we are into the physical world again, I have an idea. And I wanted to talk about this for a while now, but there's a lot of other things I had to get out here, or I had to say, in order to establish these grounds more effectively, like all the words I just said for the past 34 minutes, do not be meaning to make these videos go long. My videos are going to get a lot shorter soon. It's just there's a lot I need to have out here some kind of way in order for me to trot on as I get ready to do this for real, for real. You follow what I'm saying? So I wanted to talk about this thing next. Once we come to the resurrection, here's what's next: the reestablishment. What's the reestablished mentality gonna look like in real life? The 4 career fields I've been telling you about. Those 4 career fields that I have been so eagerly trying to get you all to take a more stronger look at. And those 4 career fields are astronomy. Reason for astronomy being a chosen career field. Now, they can be any career field you choose. I just see me personally, this is going to be the aftermath of the spiritual war. The aftermath of the spiritual war is what I see here. Meaning what we're going to be doing to like really bring everything back to normal once what's causing everything to be abnormal is gone. You follow what I'm saying? It's not you, humanity. It's what's driving you. Or should I say it's your driver currently. Your driver is the problem here. And your driver just so happens to be one demon devil, in which needs to be kicked out of the seats and or kicked off of the soul's grounds, in which it is boring the sword into 47 centillion soul yards away, so that the true King of Kings and or the actual driver of the vehicle and or the actual owner of the house can reclaim his car and or can reclaim his home liberation. You follow what I'm saying? The first career field was astronomy. Why am I choosing astronomy as the major 4 career fields after the spiritual war for us to execute and reestablish the grounds properly in the physical world? For the perfect understanding globally. Everything is going to be worldwide, universal, and globally for me. I'm targeting everyone with this. Meaning, once the spiritual warfare is ended, I get a sense that this career field right here will be one of the biggest things that we need to tie into, or we need to apply into our world. Astronomy being the first one. For the perfect understanding. For once the Father's heart is clean, his body shall stretch to the stars. Once again, the first career field, astronomy, for the perfect understanding worldwide. As once the Father's heart is clean, his body shall stretch to the stars. Meaning we'll be going out into the galaxy to inherit different planets and whatnot. Once we have this one fully established and fully better again. As above, so below. Remember, what's going on in the conscious mind also happens on the lower subconscious mind, but also happens on the lower planet as well at the same time. It all happens at the same time in all 3 areas: your mind, your heart, and your physical. Your mind, your heart, and your physical. Your mental state is the mind, your heart is the subconscious mind, and your physical is the planet you are in, or the reality in which you are in. You follow what I'm saying? We need to grasp the perfect understanding first before we start traveling the stars. We need to get the planet back in line, because remember I said once Allah's heart is, or once the Father's heart is clean, his body shall stretch to the stars. That's what I said. But we have to get the planet clean first. All of your behavioral practices and what you people do on a daily basis, especially to mine own family members, like my little sister Kwikwi of South Africa, which I will never stop reminding you of. What you did to that young lady is barbaric. Truly barbaric. You shouldn't exist, long story short. You really shouldn't exist. None of you should, but let's never forget, I don't necessarily have the ability to directly tell you what you should do. You know, because you kill us too fast. Yeah, I heard they penetrated both holes. Let's go look up the story. They got justice for Kwikwi all over on TikTok. I just signed up for TikTok again. I'm going to just say some more things out loud. Here, the second career field out of the 4. The second career field I looked at to be architecture for the perfect homes worldwide. Everybody comes home. Perfect houses worldwide. Everybody comes home. That's the second career field I had in mind. Architecture, all melanated architecture. So melanated astronomers and melanated architects. Those are the first 2 out of the 4. And why do I want a melanated architects? Because the perfect homes worldwide. The perfect homes worldwide. Everybody comes home. Everybody lives in a good house, and everybody gets ready to do the third thing within their homes that they now have. And what's the third career field? It is agriculture. That's what I call it. That's what it was. So it's astronomy, architecture, and agriculture. Those are the first 3 career fields right there. The perfect food worldwide. Everybody eats. Or the Chinese long chopsticks parable is what the 3rd career field is going to cover there. The agriculture career field. When I have green grounds, black farmers, and blue skies. Green, black, and blue. That's the whole point of the 3rd career field right there. These are just some things that I see as ideas that we can do once we finally all become one individual God being again globally, and we begin to fix up our planet. You follow what I'm saying? But the thing is, in order for us to become this one individual God being globally, we have to have perfect health, or we have to be resurrected into a body in which can sustain, or we have to just gain one idea, one driver, each of us, that'll repair our soulful grounds, each of us, and bring us back together as the family in which we truly are. What's the 4th career field? Anatomy. The 4th career field is anatomy. Reason why I choose to have anatomy as the 4th career field is the perfect health worldwide. The perfect health worldwide. You follow what I'm saying? Regeneration, replenishment, restoration, and renewal. The perfect health worldwide. That's the whole reason why I would like to have every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet also have a career field in their arsenal of anatomy. So once again, the 4 career fields that I see, me personally, in which we will be utilizing to fully reestablish the soul's order into the world are as follows. Astronomy, for the perfect understanding, melanated astronomers worldwide. Melanated architects worldwide, for the perfect homes worldwide, globally, for every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet. No one will be homeless ever again. No one will be hungry ever again. And then you have the melanated agriculturalists, melanated farmers worldwide, farmers revolution. We had an industrial revolution that came from the pale people, or the opposite gene class. Remember, all of our problems that we have currently only come from them. We are only receiving all of our problems from them. You can argue with me all you want to, but at the end of the day, all of the chaos, ruckus, and mayhem in which the so-called black people are causing all over the place, where are they getting the idea to do such things from? That argument is always going to be there no matter what. It's always going to be the argument no matter what. Where are they getting these ideas from? Why are they getting these ideas from them? Did you notice how worse things got after integration? Did you not hear Muhammad Ali ask questions such as, why do you all want to be so close to us? They want to be this close to us so they can destroy our lives more effectively without being seen doing it. But then simultaneously being seen, because there's 212 million white folks in this country, whereas just 41 million black folks in this country. If you all think that you're going to go in guns a-blazing and you're going to beat these people, you are wrong. They are so prepared for you to just march around with anger so they can not do anything, and then click the cameras on once you come to a certain spot so they can say that you're just naturally like this. Because remember, they're all day long, they are trying to depict you into what you are not. All day long, they are trying to depict you into what you are not. All day long, nonstop. And what you are not is the opposite of the eye of the 3rd eye chakra in thy mind heart space, the characteristics of it, meaning. You don't even have to use the third eye chakra name. You don't even have to use that. It's just a character, a universal character, in which is one thing in which we all should be utilizing right now to somehow combat against this issue until we don't have to fight it anymore. But those are just my thoughts. The 3rd career field is agriculture, melanated agriculture worldwide, green grounds, black farmers, and blue skies. Nobody goes hungry again. And then the 4th and final one, anatomy. Perfect health, regeneration, replenishment, restoration, and renewal. And from there we live. We live in peace, love, unity, and progression. We live with peace, respect, balance, and progression amongst one another. I am literally speaking into existence a utopia in elaborate detail. I am literally speaking into existence a heaven in elaborate detail. You follow what I'm saying? One more note about heaven. Actually, now that I mentioned it before I even close the video out. Those four career fields in one can be labeled and described as heaven. If we were to apply them, meaning the melanated people. Also, this is where I'm getting at. The King of Kings himself is also heaven. The King of Kings itself is also heaven. God is also heaven. God, heaven, and the King of Kings are all one thing together. Now, heaven can be seen as a conscious mind mental state driver. The literal meaning of heaven can be seen as a mental state driver. Because you want to know something? Right now, hell is being seen as a mental state driver. Now, both heaven and hell are foundational things. You follow what I'm saying? Meaning, if there's heaven protruding from your mind-heart spaces, then that means your subconscious mind is all for love, while your conscious mind is balanced. But due to the world's setup, that's almost impossible to do. Hell is also a subconscious mind artwork. And due to the entrenchment of the devil driver, or the forceful devil driver trying to be the driver of our conscious minds, all of our subconscious minds drive hell into the world. You follow what I'm saying? Our subconscious minds are driving hell into the world versus our subconscious minds driving heaven into the world. Heaven and hell are both mindsets. And when you really take a look at what the word heaven literally means, you'll find out that this here mindset of ours is also a constituent of the entire universe. Meaning heaven is literally the entire universe, a collection, all the planets, stars, everything there is thereof. The firmament. If you all believe the firmament is simply the edge of this planet, that's incorrect. The firmament is more than we thought it was. You want to know what the firmament is in actuality? The outer edge of the universe itself. When you do the research and when you look at the words means, the firm, a mentality, this universe firmly seals the true mentality of God away. This reality does, meaning. But here's the thing though. Our flesh suits and our flesh and our protons and, or not protons, but electrons and whatnot. The universe, or this reality here, in which is firmly sealing the true Most High God inside of it, is now inside of us, giving us our abilities to go. So that means heaven is naturally giving us our abilities to move. Heaven is naturally giving us our abilities to have motion. Heaven is naturally giving us our abilities to go. Heaven is, not hell. Why do my archangels, or why do my angels live in a reality that ain't built for them to live in? Yeah, I get it. The energy of this entity is what this reality is in a sense, but it ain't simultaneously. You want to know why? Because the reality wouldn't be able to have any type of fruitful existence if not for the Heavenly Father's lights, or for the Heavenly Father's light. You follow what I'm saying? Nothing in reality, everything in reality will be unconscious and or a giant cloud of fire if not for the Heavenly Father's light inside of it, water and light inside of it, and gravity. Water, light, and gravity inside of it. If not for that energy inside of everything in reality, reality wouldn't even be reality. Does this devil really think we need its love more than it needs us? I'll leave that for you all to decide, though. Justice for 7-year-old Kwikwi of South Africa. Shalom, shalom, shalom. This is not a victim mentality at all. Far from one. I'm just aware of what struck me, aware of what strickens we, and aware of what will not stop striking us at all. Ever. Which is why I personally do not desire to be your king or your leader. I only desire to do and say things that will defend and protect you from these strikes. I'm not about a competition. I don't seek to be better. I don't desire to be your king or your leader. Just me personally. These are just quotes that I have to say. These are more foundational quotes. Whenever I say my shalom, 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 I'm saying a few more foundational quotes to close out the video. Saying the victim mentality is wherever struck me, wherever stricken we, and wherever will not stop striking us at all. Ain't about a competition with me. I'm just, this is about the awareness and knowledge of what needs to be stopped. I don't desire to be your king or your leader. I only desire to do or say things that will defend and protect you from the strikers. Therefore, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Matthew 22:39. Matthew 22:39. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. At least those who are worthy. And on top of that, how are you going to love anyone outside of you if the way you love yourself, if you don't even know how to love yourself, and or if you don't even know who you are to be loved in the first place, spirit and soul? Trust the spirit, respect the soul. Trust the spirit, respect the soul. Trust, a firmly held belief in the reliability, ability, truth, and strength of someone or something. The spirit's reliability. It's immortal. It'll always be there for you. It ain't gonna never go anywhere else. The spirit will always just be something you can rely on. The ability. The spirit's abilities are your abilities. It's in your DNA. Why don't you want to trust and or have a firmly held belief in thine own reliabilities or abilities? Truth. The soul's truth. Trust what you know. Trust what you validated. You are not crazy for seeing what's there. That's just the training of the brutal recessive geneity people who just want to keep this lie game of confusion preserved and established in our world. What you see and what you have validated with your own eyes doesn't make you crazy because you've seen it and you validated it. Stop listening to these peoples and their lies. The more you listen to them, the more you preserve their games. The more you follow their laws, the more you preserve their games. The more you don't do something to get out of their hell, the longer you accept it and stay in it. Reliability, ability, truth, and strength. The spirit soul strength is your strength, physical and intellectually. Lean on it. It's yours to lean on. You're astonishing. You're extraordinary. You are literally extraordinary. Extra. Ordinary. 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 What is the word orden? Orden is, don't want to make any mistakes here if I haven't already, Latin origin for the word order, which means role, series, rank. You all need to get your rank up in the angelic spiritual being sense. And it's simply just gaining more knowledge and awareness of who and or what you are. But let's not forget, I can't stand buts. Let's never forget though, due to what they are doing currently, what they are preserving into our reality, it's difficult to do this. And until we get rid of the ultimate problem, ensuring the difficulties to rise up, because a fallen angel can also be a risen angel, can they not? A fallen angel can be a risen angel, can they not? And since every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet in reality is an angelic spiritual being who just so happens to be fallen due to them being conquered, then they can be rising angels. We talk so much about fallen angels. Can we talk a lot about rising angels? Why can't we talk about rising angels? Because the more we talk about rising angels, we're talking about every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet rising to a higher dimensional thinking mind and beyond. More awareness, more things to see, more desires to protect and get out of hell pronto, immediately. Because here's the thing. If every melanated man, woman, and child on this planet was to unite right now, we can get out of hell tonight. And just manifest what we are into the world, heaven. Love your neighbor as you love yourself, Matthew 20-39. I hope I didn't miss anything. Defend your neighbor as you defend yourself, at least those who are worthy. Be lifted in the spirit and walk good forever. Peace, love, unity, and advancement to you all, my family.